Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Thursday, so it's my story day. This is one of Rumi's old tales called The Indian Bird. There once was a merchant who kept a bird in a cage, and he was traveling off to India. He asked everybody in his house what I can bring you, and he also said to the bird, anything I can bring you? He says, well, yeah, how about my freedom? He says, no, you're not going to be free, but anything else? He says, all right, well, since this is where you're going, there's a jungle right outside of where you're going. This is where my relatives are. At least would you tell them what happened to me? He says, yeah, no problem. So he goes to shopping, gets the stuff for his wife, his kids, whatever. But then when he goes to the part of the jungle, he says, listen, I have to tell you that I have your relative captured. He wanted to let me know so you wouldn't be worried about him. And the moment he finished saying that, a bird drops out of the tree and falls senseless at his feet. He said, oh my God, the news of his captured relative was like too much. He had a heart attack. Sorry. So when he got back, he gave the gifts to everybody, and the bird said, so did you bring my word to my relatives? He said, well, I have some bad news for you. As soon as I told them what happened to you, one of them dropped out of the tree and fell down dead at my feet. The moment the bird heard this, he swooned around and fell down to his cage, and the merchant thought, oh my God, the news just gave him a heart attack, so bad. So he opened the cage, he put the bird on the windowsill, and the moment that he did, the bird revived and flew away to another branch. I said, thank you very much for bringing me the message of how to free myself through you, my captor. And that's supposed to be a Sufi tale about indirect learning and being dead to the world. Think about that. Anyway, back to the journaling writing for my friends. For those of you who write it, or think about it in your own mind, or elevate the conversation where you are, or let me know what you're thinking, and I'll tell you what's going on in my mind. How did your parents enjoy their life? Did they play? Were they tight? Was one of them friendly towards play, and one of them stick to practical stuff and never let loose? And how did that affect the way you play and you let loose? So let me know what your reminiscences are, and I'll be glad to tell you how it came out in my life too. All right, BKS Iyengar, always start with what he has to say first. The body is an infinitely complicated structure, and it's a fantastic thing to study and to see how it affects your emotions, your general thinking, certainly your spirituality. But a mechanical effort that's habit forming is a dulling way, right, of practicing. It's the wrong way of practicing. While a well-disciplined training not only improves your practice, but helps you face the discomfort that almost happens in the pursuance of this craft. And that teaches you how to accept pain, not as a masochist, but as learning how to deal with it when you come up against the tightness in your body. And of course, the brain is the tightest part of the body that we have to learn how to work with. Now, my meditation teachers remind us all the time that love is a fire within us. It's a quality of warmth which has no center, and it's ongoing. It's our basic ground. It's vast, it's spacious, and it consumes everything to the point where it leaves no doubt, which is why everybody says the answer is in your heart. Now, because of that, compassion is trying to make a comeback in our generation. And when you listen to the stories, remember, each person responds to the story according to the life it has lived. And so the mythological teachings try to remind you that you have to get into the right kind of trouble to break open the shell that keeps you enclosed, because that shell keeps your medicine in. You got to break open the shell so the medicine you're carrying, the wisdom, can come out. Now, in some way, everyone must pay with their life and consent daily to die, just to let go, to give oneself up to the risks and the dangers of the world, and to allow yourself to be engulfed and used up by it. The masochist says, I can't do that. But the creator worships life, and the artist wants to leave behind the gift. And if you don't do that, you end up as though you're dead, by both avoiding life and death. Psychologically speaking, remember, the ego is always going to confront you with problems that you'd like to avoid. Doesn't want to face your depression or your sin or your guilt or your unworthiness. or the absence of a trans-phenomenal support that you can rely on. And so many people go around exhausted, low on resources, impotent in their own power. But the key always is that the renewal happens through your contact with nature, with your instinctual self. So how do you renew that contact? Get out every single day. Look at the sky, the stars, the clouds, the trees, the flowers. Listen for the birds, the squirrels, whatever. Anything that takes you into the non-human part of the world. And then learn to pay attention to flow with your instinctive nature. I know it seems like it's not much, but it's like the old story where the two disciples are saying, what are the different qualities of power that your master has? And one says, oh, my master writes with his finger in the air, and I stand on the other side of the river, and letters and words appear on the slate. It's amazing. What does your master do? Well, he eats when he's hungry, sleeps when he's tired, and goes to the calls of nature when he hears them. What? Yeah. But so many people are out of touch with their natural rhythms, and that doesn't give them contact with their own basic instincts. So go out in nature and renew yourself. Finally, what do the masters of affirmation want us to listen to today? Well, the appearance of any problem in life is always an indication, a signal to step forward and solve that problem, which is how you end up growing. And the first step is always mental, right? All things be ready if your mind be so. And so continue to trust. Continue to worship what you trust. Believe in that part of yourself. And if you do, you learn to focus on what you want to allow in your life rather than what you want to get rid of. Hope you all remember that. All right, as I'm saying this whole week, we have one space open for the Mexico vacation, February 21st to 28th at Villa Shanti in Puerto Morelos. It's our 30th year. So one more space. Hope somebody gobbles it up and you can enjoy that time with us south of the border. Have a great day.